What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Street Fighter Duel video. Alright guys, this is going to be an opinionated piece because I do know sometimes that Crunchyroll representatives and other representatives who are part of the dev team do watch our streams and our videos. So I want to make a top 5 good things and top 5 bad things that this game has to offer and what I think needs to be changed in order for this game to continue doing well or do better than it is currently doing now. Alright, so first off, let's start off with the good, because there's quite a few good things about this game that make it easy for new players to join, and as well as for people to actually enjoy the game. So number one, no energy system. Thank goodness for that. I hate stamina system games because they take away from the enjoyment of the game, especially when you're like, I want to really play and you have to sit down and wait for a couple hours. So the no stamina thing is incredible. I love that. And the fact that manual gameplay actually makes a massive difference in this game. Most of the games I play are skip and auto, and we'll come back to that. There's a good and a bad for that. But this game, manual play is actually really important and can progress you quite far without having you get paywalled or stuck in a place in a rut where you just don't want to play the game anymore. So kudos to the dev team for making those two things matter a lot. Another thing I want to point out, gems are really easy to get in this game. Like, as a free-to-play, I'm constantly summoning. I've always had gems. My whale account, obviously, you buy them. It's pretty straightforward, but I haven't spent, so I'm not too worried about that anymore. But even now, I'm still at 52k, and I have not gone below because, realistically, at some point, the spending becomes so minimal for your account, right? You're either buying gear or you're buying yourself tier icons, etc. So those things I have to give kudos to. Gems are pretty free-to-play friendly, and an abundance of them are being able to be made. Another thing I want to point out too, number 3, is the events. I like the fact that whenever there is a new unit that comes out, an event follows it, and that event is pretty engaging and lively. Now, I will say, the boss part of it isn't the greatest all the time. Like, I did enjoy the MH Ken boss more because it was global, but there was obviously an issue to that the whales had to pay way more money just to get everyone to beat it while everyone else enjoyed that. But in this case, with the Akuma one, it allows us to do a couple things that I do respect, and that is test a lot of units that you would normally not test because the boss doesn't die. It's a pretty straightforward, controlled environment, and for the most part, you can actually get pretty good numbers and test data. So I do like that part, and I have to say, the actual free resources, the Cycle of Fate content, the Master Gift, the Temple Lamp exchange system, all great things. So good job again for that. You're giving everybody the ability to participate. It's not a pay-to-win situation for the most part. People can get a lot of rewards, free tickets, and I do love the fact that when a special unit does drop, they do bring a banner out, and when you can share it and get tokens for free to summon, which I think is a fantastic thing to do, because not a lot of games, believe it or not, do those kind of things, right? So that's number 3. Number 4 really good thing is the guild system. I actually really enjoy the guild system. I love the Shadowlands to be able to compete with your guild members to see who can do the most damage. And then I love the Crusades because the bosses are actually fairly decently created with skills that are unique for each boss. And I like to compete with other people's teams, knowing, to see how well I do versus how well they do. Now, the one thing I will say is Drip Honda over here needs to be a character ASAP because I love him. I call him D Honda. It's E Honda's big brother, Drip Honda. But I have to say the guild setup is great. The one thing, there is also a downside to this, and we'll talk about down to there. So that's number 4. And number 5 good thing is the summoning system is actually pretty generous. It is, and I'm not talking about the specialty one. I'm talking about just the regular summoning system, right? This one here. It's pretty generous. You do get a plethora of A units pretty often. I believe there must be a soft pity of some sort because every 30 summons I'm always getting something. Plus, I like the chests here give you the A card as well too. Plus these extra origin and strength tokens. And I love the fact that you have the choice recruit. I think that's a really cool option to have, especially for those who want to use their gems to get themselves a character they're just missing in order to get them ranked up. So all good things that I have to give respect for. These are things that I actually do enjoy, and not to mention, to be quite honest, there's a lot of content for a brand new player to do where you start kind of failing in that, and we'll talk about the 5 bad things that I think need to change, is the repetitive content. So let's start off with that. Okay, so repetitive content. Even though there's no stamina system, I think the devs need to come up with a more unique way to deal with content that is becoming very repetitive to us. For example, let's talk about a few things. Arena. This is fine because you can skip at one point, but everyone should be able to skip. VIP privilege or not, everyone should have the option to skip Arena. Battle Royale. Love that it's manual and you can control it, but please, for the love of God, change it to ×2 and ×4. Minimum ×2 at least, to make it, like, I don't even do this anymore because I hate watching ×1 speed. It's probably the most obnoxious thing you guys could have done from a PvP perspective, is to make us forcefully watch our fights or participate in our fights in a ×1. Who the hell has time for that? So that is a huge issue for me. At Super Showdown, I think there needs to be a different bracket. There should be 2 final showdowns. There should be a final showdown for higher up players, and there should be brackets for like whales, dolphins, and free to play. And the rewards get better the higher power you are. Obviously, the whales will get better rewards, but similar rewards for dolphins in a smaller quantity, and vice versa for the free to play. And they should all be participating in this event together with smaller requirements, but amongst each other, to see who the best free to play is versus who the best dolphin is versus who the best whale is, right? And I think that is a really cool thing about PvP. So there's a lot of work to be done from a PvP perspective. So that's problem number 1 for me. Okay, so I hope, devs, you guys are listening. I think these are great ideas personally, that's why I'm doing this. All right, number 2. Shadowloo City. For the love of God, please stop making us do this every 2 days. Either give us an option to skip twice a week or something, because it's just crazy to do this every 2 days. It's just so much work for no reason. Or not no reason, there's good rewards, but you know what I mean? It's just a lot of work for a lot of us where we just steamroll through it, but it's just time consuming. And this is one of the piece of content I don't enjoy enough to spend my time on. So either, in my opinion, roll it up to once a week with all the same rewards, just bundled up in 1 week, or give us a skip option. Whether it's a VIP option, I don't care. Just give some of us a skip option, because it's just annoying to have to do 3 floors every second day. And I know there's a VIP option to give you 100% more rewards if you miss a day, but that's, again, a VIP thing. Just give it to everybody. Let everybody have that option. Let us skip it somehow. Like, give us like a memory option. Like, you beat the stage at this level, you can continue skipping it until you go higher up and then try again. So Shadowloo City, guys, I'm not a big fan of. I mean, great rewards again, but not a fan of the actual content itself. All right, global operations. You guys need more of this. This trial ground stuff was incredible. I loved every bit of it. It was fun to do. I love the puzzles. Great rewards. But I know a lot of games do this, and I think this is what you guys are going to do as well. The coming soon here will probably never come, and you guys will probably never fill this in. I hate to say it, because I've just had bad history with those things. Like, it's just really hard to do. Also, Inverse World. Very, very cool feature with amazing rewards. But again, please add more to it, because once you get the Abandoned Wastelands, it's done. You'll never have a reason to go back unless you're trying to get these scores up. So add more of that. So not necessarily a bad thing, just need more content in that regard. Okay, so more of that would be great. Whatever this is here, event has not started yet, please give us an explanation of what this is, or start it up. It'd be cool to have something brand new happen. Okay, anyways, that's besides the point. Let's go to another really bad thing. Right over here. This. Yeah. So I don't care about the summoning aspect of it, where you have to summon over time and blah, blah, blah. There should always be a pity system. We're not living in the stone ages of gachas. There should always be a hard pity for any special units. Look, somebody just got one right there. Because I've seen an obscene amount of people spend so much money on this character and not get him. And I think that's very unfair. I've got mine to S with just going with the free ticket, so I got pretty lucky. But some folks are spending hundreds and not even getting one copy yet. So yeah, put a pity system. We're not sitting in the stone ages. Like MH Ken had one for his banner, and he was a special collab unit, so there should be no excuse for Akuma not to have one as well. And this will allow people to actually spend their diamonds, get the tokens, and be happy with knowing they'll eventually pull this unit with their hard-earned gems, right? So that's another big one right there. And then lastly, resources, right? Resources. So this here is great, but we need more, especially for buying or getting gear, factional gear. Right now, if you've unlocked Dojo and 120 right here, this section here, where is it? Sorry, let me just show you real quick. Actually, no. So was it this? Yeah, here we go. I think it was this. Yeah, idle rewards, SS equipment, T1 and T2 engravings. Okay, so those two things at 90%, and yeah, at 90%, barely ever happens. I barely ever notice it. Like, I don't even know where that 90% is coming from. Where else? Resistance training. Increases the chance of neutral equipment training to factional equipment. I've noticed the difference but it's very minimal because it rarely ever happens. So these numbers are a little bit misrepresented because we don't know what the original drop rate is of those items. So you guys need to do a better job of actually explaining to us what the drop rate are for some of these things in idle, okay? Because right now, a lot of us don't know what to expect and how those effects are being applied, or if they're being applied correctly. All right, guys. So those are the big things for me. Some good, some bad. I'm curious to know what your comments are. I don't think the game is in a bad state at all in terms of its content and what it offers you as a player. I think there's quite a bit to do, a lot of engagement, but there are obviously some bad things, such as no pity on the special summon systems, the fact that there is repetitive content. The Shadow Loot needs to definitely change. PvP is, I think, a huge problem personally, and the fact that there should be a bracket in Final Showdown for every single class based on your power check. And yeah, and last thing, fix the damn guild recruitment. I don't know if it's fixed yet. If it is, great. I haven't noticed, but if you haven't fixed it, please fix that, because when Guild FFG comes back, which is an awesome event for everybody, I hope that guilds are ready for it and they can actually thrive and take advantage of everything that's available to them through that. Anyways, guys, it's Payne. Hope you enjoyed this. Devs, if you're watching, please make the changes. They're such simple ones, and they'll benefit the quality of life in this game. Talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.